For each movie that I do, I like to find a specific language to tell the specific story. Emmanuel Lubezki is one of the most respectable and sought-after cinematographers working today, winning 3 Oscars in a row and being nominated for 8. His ability to adapt to each story and direct accordingly has made him one of the most prominent cinematographers today, as well as being given the nickname Chivo or Goat in Spanish, meaning that he is the greatest of all time. Today I'm going to be looking at his cinematography in Alfonso Cuarón's Children of Men, talking about their pre-production process, the techniques he used, as well as what equipment he used to achieve the raw look. Cuarón was brought on to direct in 2001, and after finishing mamá, también, he began to rewrite the script with Timothy Sexton. He chose to not read P.D. James's adapted novel and instead read an abridged version, but rather than beginning production immediately, he directed Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. During the production of Harry Potter, David Arata rewrote the screenplay, which then secured Clive Owen as the lead, sending the film into pre-production. A Clockwork Orange was one of the main inspirations for the futuristic yet battered London, and Cuarón would only portray the city using single wide shots, which Lubezki is a fan of. Everything was designed to have a balance of a contemporary yet futuristic appearance. Even the cars were made to resemble modern ones at first glance. There are countless long takes throughout Children of Men, ranging from 3 minutes 19 seconds to 6 minutes 18 seconds. After experimenting with long takes in his previous films and being influenced by one of his favourite films, Jonah, who will be 25 in the year 2000, Cuarón said, "I was studying cinema when I first saw Jonah and interested in the French New Wave. Jonah was so unflashy compared to those films. The camera keeps a certain distance and there are relatively few close-ups. It's elegant and flowing, constantly tracking but very slowly and not calling attention to itself. It took 14 days in order to prepare the shot where Thaw searches a building that is under attack, and it would take 5 hours every time they wanted to reshoot it. In the take in the film, blood is splattered onto the lens, and Emmanuel Lubezki had to convince Cuarón to leave it in. I think the audience doesn't know a movie's lit, but they feel it. Because you've walked in a forest many times or in a park, so you know how it looks. When you start lighting, subconsciously you know there is something that is absolutely wrong. Lubezki's films all have an organic look to them, and even though they all look as though they were lit in natural light, he often motivates it instead of using no rigging at all. Children of Men was photographed with very little traditional film lighting, and Chivo relied a lot on available light when shooting outside. As for on stages or at night, Lubezki would either use light boxes or space lights in order to create a soft yet bright light illuminating the set equally. The bleak yet memorable palette of the film is also noteworthy in its regard, as throughout the exteriors become more and more blue. The outside world is seen as dirty, yet once we enter Nigel's apartment we are greeted with pristine light, showing the differences between the classes. The most striking part about the cinematography of Children of Men for me is Chivo's use of movement. He uses handheld throughout the entire film, creating a sense of realism and grittiness, ultimately making us, the audience, feel as though we are there with the characters. Possibly the most famous sequence in the entire film is that where we have the characters driving through a country road when they are suddenly ambushed and Julian is killed. The entire sequence is shot in one take, with one invisible cut at the end of the scene. Chivo uses motivated movement throughout the scene, panning through characters and following movement throughout the car. Once the windscreen has been cracked, we follow it from one side to the other before it finally crumbles in on itself and we are left looking at a dying Julianne Moore. If you hadn't noticed, the invisible cut is here when Thaw steps out of the car and walks towards the officers. The transition is seamless but allows for Chivo and Cuarón to continue the look of the oner. Overall, Emmanuel Lubezki set out to make the world of Children of Men look as organic and raw as possible, almost to the extent that it looks like a documentary, but he achieved that. The use of handheld creates the immersive world for the audience, his use of natural lighting gives an organic look, and the one takes throughout bring everything together and make this film iconic. Lubezki used the Aricam LT and Ariflex 235, paired with the Zeiss Master Primes. Both the LT and 235 are lightweight cameras perfect for handheld, and the ideal cameras for long takes as they are compact and rather small in comparison to other 35mm cameras. Zeiss Master Primes are known for their near zero distortion, even on their extremely wide lenses, which Lubezki prefers. He used Kodak's Vision 2 Expression 500T stock, giving the film a subdued range of contrast and colour, as well as being Vision 2, which was the first film from Kodak to be created for both film and digital post-production. He opted for 5229 as he needed a stock that you could expose for the interior, yet still have information for the transition to exteriors. The film is full of long takes, and for this, Chivo used equipment that would make this as easy as possible. For example, this scene uses a 2-axis dolly on a rig that looked like this, and allowed them to control the camera from above. I'm very attracted to directors who want to experiment. The thing that attracts me the most are people who are trying to find a language that is correct for their film, for that specific film. Overall, it's no doubt that Chivo is one of the most talented cinematographers working today. His use of natural light is incredible, and the way he moves the camera is elegant yet still in support of the story. I hope you enjoyed this video on how Emmanuel Lubezki shot Children of Men. If you'd like to see a breakdown of his other films or just his style in general, leave a comment down below. If you found this video helpful, a thumbs up is appreciated, and if you'd like to see more videos like this, then hit the subscribe button. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.